The Garden of Eden, A Tale of Eternal Wonder. Prologue. In the time before time, when for centuries untold, the Garden of Eden thrived as a haven of innocence and purity. It was said that the garden was born from the very breath of the divine, imbued with mysteries and miracles that defied mortal understanding. And in this enchanted paradise, two souls would come to define the essence of love, sacrifice, and the Chapter 1, The Awakening of the Garden. Long at the heart of Eden stood a colossal, ancient tree whose boughs reached heavenward, its leaves shimmering with the light of 1,000 hidden suns. This was the tree of life, the source of the garden's enduring vitality and the keeper of its secrets. Around the tree, nature flourished in symphonic unity, as if every petal, every blade of grass, and every droplet of water had been carefully placed by the hand of destiny. The garden was tended by celestial beings, guardians of light and purity, who nurtured every living thing with tender care. Among these guardians were two radiant souls, Adam and Eve, who had been fashioned in the image of the divine. They roamed the garden in harmonious bliss, their hearts unburdened by the weight of worldly sorrow, and their eyes alight with the wonder of creation. Adam, with his gentle strength and quiet wisdom, was a lover of nature and a seeker of truth. His hands, skilled in the art of creation, coaxed beauty from the earth with every tender caress. Eve, graceful and luminous, possessed a boundless. Chapter 2, The Blossoming of Innocence. In Eden, ever Ada as the seas. In this half. Chapter 3, The Whisper of Temptation. Yet, this presence, one far, dear Sue, the woe. Who are you? The tempter. Eve's heart quickened at these words. And though Adam's caution lingered like a shadow at dusk, the seed of curiosity had been sown. In the days that followed, the gentle murmur of the garden seemed to shift, as if the wind itself carried secret whispers of change. Eve found herself drawn repeatedly to the ancient tree, where the fruit glistened like drops of starlight, and each time, the tempter's beguiling voice urged her to taste the fruit of forbidden knowledge. Chapter 4, The Taste of the Forbidden. In the soft glow of twilight, when the garden was bathed in a gentle luminescence and the stars began their nightly vigil, Eve stood before the tree of life, her heart fluttering like a captive bird. The fruit dangled before her, an object of exquisite beauty and allure, a symbol of both life's bounty and its hidden mysteries. The tempter's voice, like the sweetest of melodies, echoed in her mind. One taste, it whispered, and the secrets of the universe shall be revealed to you. You will see beyond the veil, understand the language of the stars, and know the essence of all creation. For a long moment, Eve hesitated, caught between the safety of the familiar and the promise of the unknown. But the allure of forbidden wisdom proved too powerful to resist. With trembling fingers, she reached out and plucked the fruit from its bough. The skin was smooth and cool beneath her touch, and as she brought it to her lips, time itself seemed to pause, holding its breath. The first bite was a revelation, a burst of flavors that danced upon her tongue, mingling the sweetness of nectar with a hint of bittersweet mystery. In that moment, her mind expanded, and she perceived a kaleidoscope of visions, swirling galaxies, hidden dimensions, and the interconnected tapestry of all life. The secrets of the cosmos unfolded before her eyes, each revelation more wondrous and incomprehensible than the last. Adam, who had watched in silent awe, felt a deep tremor of foreboding as he witnessed the transformation. The innocence that had once enveloped the garden now seemed fragile and transient. For in that single act, the balance of Eden was irrevocably altered. Though the fruit had unlocked mysteries beyond mortal ken, it also carried with it a heavy price, the loss of the simple, unburdened joy of ignorance. In the days that followed, the garden seemed to shimmer with an uneasy tension. Adam and Eve found themselves caught between two worlds, one of unspoiled beauty and one of dawning awareness. The knowledge that had blossomed within Eve's heart brought with it both wonder and sorrow, a bittersweet gift that would forever change the course of their lives. Chapter 5: The Shattering of Innocence. As the days turned to weeks, the transformation within the garden became undeniable. The once placid streams now murmured with an undercurrent of restlessness, and the radiant blooms of Eden began to lose their luster as if touched by the sorrow of newfound knowledge. The harmony that had once bound every living thing in a gentle embrace was now tinged with the complexity of choice and consequence. Adam, whose soul had long reveled in the beauty of simple truths, felt an aching disquiet. He questioned the wisdom of the tempter's promises and the cost of the secrets that had been revealed. Eve, he murmured one evening as they sat beneath the ancient tree of life, what have we done? In seeking knowledge, have we not lost something precious, our innocence, our unblemished wonder? Eve's eyes, once bright with the light of discovery, now carried a shadow of melancholy. I saw the universe in all its splendor, she replied softly, and I felt its sorrow, its joy, its infinite complexity. I have learned truths that no soul should bear, and with that knowledge comes a burden we did not choose. Their hearts, once united in the joy of creation, now beat with the weight of unspoken regret. The garden, too, seemed to mourn the loss of its former grace. Creatures that had once danced in carefree abandon now moved with a wary grace. And the wind, once a bearer of joyful songs, whispered of change and longing. The tempter, ever watchful, observed the unfolding of events with a knowing smile. Its role, it seemed, was not merely to reveal forbidden truths, but to remind the guardians of Eden that even paradise is subject to the immutable laws of fate. In every act of creation, there lies the potential for both wonder and sorrow, for every gift may bear the seeds of its own undoing. And so, as the garden's once pristine light began to wane under the shadow of newfound knowledge, Adam and Eve stood at the crossroads of destiny. They had unlocked the secrets of the cosmos, but in doing so, they had shattered the fragile shell of innocence that had long defined their existence. Chapter 6: The Journey Beyond the Garden. With heavy hearts and minds brimming with a tumult of emotions, Adam and Eve came to a fateful decision. The paradise of Eden, though still resplendent in its beauty, could no longer shelter the truth that now dwelled within them. They resolved to leave behind the only home they had ever known and embark on a journey into the unknown, a quest for redemption, understanding, and perhaps a way to restore the balance that had been disrupted. Their departure from Eden was a moment both sorrowful and profound. As they walked away from the ancient trees and the sparkling streams, the garden seemed to weep in silent farewell. The guardians of Eden, those ethereal beings who had long nurtured the land, gathered in a quiet vigil, their luminous sighs reflecting the bittersweet glow of twilight. Before they departed, Adam and Eve paused at the foot of the tree of life, its ancient bark etched with the wisdom of countless ages. They whispered promises to one another, a vow to seek a path back to the light of innocence, to mend the rift that had torn asunder the fabric of their existence. With one final, lingering look, they stepped beyond the garden's borders, leaving behind the sanctuary of unblemished wonder. Their journey led them through realms of shifting landscapes and hidden magic. They traversed forests where the trees whispered ancient lore, crossed rivers that glowed with an inner light, and climbed mountains whose peaks kissed the sky. In every step, they encountered wonders that both uplifted and challenged them, each new vista a reminder of the beauty and complexity of the world beyond Eden. In one enchanted valley, they met a wise old wanderer, a sage whose eyes held the memories of 1,000 lifetimes. "You carry the burden of knowledge," the sage observed gently, "but know that in every end lies the seed of a new beginning. The path to redemption is paved with both sorrow and hope. Embrace the lessons of your journey, for in your quest you may yet find the key to healing the wounds of paradise." Inspired by the sage's words, Adam and Eve pressed on, their hearts kindled by a quiet resolve. They encountered creatures of myth and wonder, a luminous stag that guided them through dense forests, a family of gentle fawns who shared their humble abode, and even a reclusive dragon whose shimmering scales were said to reflect the very essence of the stars. Each encounter added a chapter to their unfolding story, a reminder that even in exile, magic and wonder could be found in the most unexpected places. Yet, as the seasons changed and the journey grew longer, the weight of their newfound knowledge pressed upon them. The memories of Eden, with its radiant beauty and untarnished innocence, haunted their dreams, in quiet moments by crackling fires under starlit skies. They spoke of the paradise they had left behind, a place where every moment was filled with the promise of unending joy, and where the simple act of being was enough to sustain the soul. But even as sorrow clung to their hearts, a flicker of hope endured, for in the depths of their longing, they sensed that the journey itself was a sacred pilgrimage, a quest not only to reclaim a lost paradise but to discover the true nature of their own spirits. With every step, they learned that redemption was not a return to the past, but a transformation, a melding of the wisdom of knowledge with the purity of innocence. Chapter 7, The Trials of Redemption. The path beyond Eden was fraught with trials and revelations that tested both their resolve and their capacity for forgiveness, both of themselves and of the forces that had set their destiny in motion. In a realm where shadows and light intertwined, Adam and Eve encountered challenges that forced them to confront the deepest recesses of their hearts. One bitter winter's night, as a relentless storm battered the rugged landscape, they found shelter in a forgotten cavern. The walls of the cavern were adorned with ancient carvings, symbols of a time when magic flowed freely and the boundaries between the mortal and the divine were but a distant memory. In the flickering light of their humble fire, they studied these carvings, seeking clues to the nature of the journey they must undertake. Perhaps, Adam mused softly, these symbols hold the key to restoring the balance that was lost. They speak of trials that lead to transformation, a crucible in which our pain may be transmuted into wisdom. Eve, her eyes reflecting both the storm's fury and a quiet determination, replied, "Every trial we face is a step toward understanding. Our loss of innocence was not a curse, but a passage, a painful yet necessary step in our evolution. In our suffering, there is the promise of renewal." Their conversation was interrupted by a spectral figure that emerged from the shadows, a guardian spirit known as the Keeper of Memories, cloaked in robes woven from the midnight sky. The Keeper spoke in a voice that resonated with the echoes of forgotten epochs. To reclaim what was lost, you must first embrace the pain of your past. Only by accepting the full measure of your experience can you transform sorrow into strength. The words of the keeper echoed in the cavern as the storm raged outside. And in that moment, Adam and Eve understood that their journey was not merely a quest to return to Eden, but an odyssey of the soul, a pilgrimage toward the reconciliation of knowledge and innocence, light and shadow. As the storm subsided and the first rays of dawn crept into the cavern, they emerged not as broken souls, but as beings tempered by experience and hope. Each trial they had faced, the bitter cold, the haunting memories, the echoes of the tempter's seductive whispers, had carved new depths into their hearts. And though the road ahead was uncertain, they carried with them the promise that every ending holds the seed of a new beginning. Chapter 8, The Reclamation of Hope. In time, the arduous journey led Adam and Eve to a hidden valley, a place where the scars of exile were slowly healing under the tender care of nature. Here, the land bore the marks of both loss and renewal. Wounded trees sprouted vibrant blossoms, and rivers, though once tumultuous, flowed with a gentle persistence that mirrored the resilience of the human spirit. In this valley, they encountered a community of kindred souls, other wanderers, seekers of truth, and guardians of forgotten lore. Among them was a woman named Flora, whose eyes shone with the wisdom of the ages and whose voice resonated with the warmth of hope. Flora had long dedicated her life to healing the rift between the realms of knowledge and innocence, and she welcomed Adam and Eve as cherished travelers on the same sacred path. Your journey mirrors the eternal cycle of creation and rebirth, Flora told them one sunlit afternoon as they sat beneath a sprawling oak. Paradise is not lost forever, it lives within each heart that dares to dream. In every act of compassion and every spark of hope. The Garden of Eden may have faded from the physical realm, but its spirit endures in the bonds we forge and the beauty we create. Her words, imbued with gentle authority, rekindled a long-dormant fire within Adam and Eve. They began to see their exile not as a punishment, but as an invitation to explore the vast tapestry of life, a tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, wonder, and grace. With newfound determination, they joined Flora and the community in tending to the valley, planting seeds of renewal in the once barren soil, and coaxing life from the scars of a wounded world. As seasons turned and the valley blossomed into a vibrant mosaic of colors and sounds, Adam and Eve discovered that hope was a living force, a force that could mend even the deepest of wounds. The gentle hum of the earth, the laughter of children, and the quiet whispers of the wind all bore testimony to a truth they had long forgotten, that paradise is not a distant memory, but a state of being that can be nurtured and reclaimed. Chapter 9, The Return of the Light. Years passed, and the community in the valley flourished under the tender care of its inhabitants. Adam and Eve, now transformed by the crucible of their journey, found themselves drawn to a vision that had haunted their dreams, a vision of the Garden of Eden, resplendent and eternal, beckoning them home. In a moment of quiet introspection beneath a starlit sky, they recognized that the garden of their hearts had never truly been lost. The lessons learned in exile, the pain, the joy, the sorrow, and the wonder, had deepened their understanding of what it meant to be alive. They realized that Eden was not confined to a single place, but was a living, breathing state of grace, present wherever love, hope, and beauty flourished. Together with their newfound friends, they embarked on a final pilgrimage, a journey to awaken the dormant spirit of Eden in every corner of the world. They traveled to forgotten ruins, to ancient groves where nature's magic still lingered, and to bustling towns where the spark of wonder had been dimmed by the weight of everyday life. In every heart they touched, they sowed the seeds of a lost paradise, a reminder that even in a world scarred by time, the eternal light of innocence could be rekindled. As they journeyed, Adam and Eve found themselves surrounded by countless acts of quiet heroism, a young artist who painted murals of celestial beauty on crumbling walls, a musician whose lilting melodies coaxed joy from the deepest sorrow, and a healer whose gentle hands mended not only bodies but broken spirits. Each encounter was a spark, a glimmer of the Eden that had once been their home. In time, their efforts coalesced into a movement, a renaissance of the human spirit. The world began to bloom anew, as if the very earth itself had been touched by the magic of Eden. And in the midst of this revival, the ancient tree of life, the heart of the lost garden, began to stir. Its leaves, once dimmed by the weight of forgotten sorrow, shimmered once more with the promise of eternal wonder. Chapter 10, The Eternal Garden. One crisp autumn day, as golden leaves danced in the breeze and the air carried the soft murmur of renewal, Adam and Eve returned to a place that seemed both familiar and transformed. They stood before a clearing where a magnificent tree stood tall, a tree whose branches reached out like welcoming arms, and whose leaves sparkled with a light that was at once both ancient and new. It was as if the Garden of Eden had been reborn in the very heart of the world, a testament to the resilience of hope and the enduring power of love. In that sacred moment, as the sun bathed the clearing in a warm, radiant glow, Adam and Eve understood that paradise was not a relic of the past, but a living dream that could be nurtured anew with every act of kindness, every spark of creativity, and every heartbeat of compassion. They knelt before the tree, their hearts overflowing with gratitude and wonder, knowing that their journey had led them to a truth more profound than they had ever imagined, that Eden lives on in the souls of those who dare to dream, to love, and to believe in the magic of a world reborn. And so, in the twilight of that resplendent day, as stars began to twinkle in the velvet sky, Adam and Eve made a silent vow, a promise to carry the spirit of Eden within them, and to share its eternal light with every corner of the earth. Their journey had been one of pain and loss, but it had also been a journey toward redemption, a pilgrimage that revealed the true nature of paradise, not a place defined by walls or boundaries, but a state of heart and spirit, where love and wonder flourish endlessly. Epilogue. The tale of the Garden of Eden, as told through the lives of Adam and Eve, became a legend passed down through the ages, a timeless reminder that even when innocence is shattered and the weight of knowledge bears heavy upon the soul, the spark of hope endures. It is said that in quiet moments, when the world is still and the stars whisper ancient secrets, one can hear the soft laughter of the guardians of Eden, echoing through the valleys of time. For in every heart that nurtures love, in every hand that sows kindness, and in every spirit that dares to dream, the eternal garden lives on, a testament to the enduring power of redemption and the timeless beauty of a paradise reborn. The journey continues. In the years that followed, the legacy of Adam and Eve's pilgrimage spread far and wide. Communities rose like blossoms in spring, their people united by a shared belief that the essence of Eden resided within every act of creativity, compassion, and courage. Artists painted vibrant murals depicting the lost paradise. Poets wove verses that captured the ineffable beauty of renewal. and storytellers passed down the legend of the Garden of Eden as a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. In every corner of the earth, from bustling cities to remote hamlets, the spirit of Eden stirred. Children grew up listening to tales of the enchanted garden, of a time when the world was a symphony of wonder and every soul danced in harmony with the rhythms of nature. And as each new generation embraced the magic of that ancient story, the dream of paradise found new life, a reminder that no matter how far one might wander, the light of Eden remains ever within reach. Adam and Eve, now weathered by time yet aglow with the wisdom of their journey, became living legends, a living testament to the idea that even the deepest scars of the past can blossom into the brightest hopes of the future. Their eyes, once filled with the simple wonder of unspoiled beauty, now shone with the complex radiance of one who had seen both the sorrow and the joy of life, and had chosen to embrace it all with an open heart. Their final years were spent in quiet reflection, surrounded by those whose lives had been touched by their quest for redemption. In the twilight of their days, they often sat beneath the ancient tree in the reborn clearing, sharing memories of a time when the Garden of Eden was their home, and dreaming of a future where its spirit would forever guide the hearts of all who believed in the magic of love and hope. And so, as the eternal cycle of day and night continued, the legacy of the Garden of Eden, of innocence lost and hope reclaimed, lived on, woven into the very fabric of creation. It is a tale that reminds us that every ending is but the beginning of a new journey, and that paradise, though sometimes hidden, can be found in the enduring light of our own hearts.